We are live. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to Wildcards. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty, and before I introduce these charming gentlemen, let's play our opening music. Okay, on this question, does the music cut out for you guys?
I mean, a little bit.
Okay. About 3 seconds
Sounded
in,
good to
just
me.
okay, cool. You
It,
guys are
it
having
sounded pretty good overall. So yeah.
all right. Once again, I'm Mike Lafferty, and directly beneath me, sneezing into his shirt,
Excuse me.
Ross Watson, who's suffering from the pollen here in Colorado. Our
It's
true
true.
our host of Wallow Cards. Ross, thanks for joining us tonight. I like your new digs with the grand piano. That is beautiful.
What an upgrade.
I know, right? Living
That
the
is very
dream.
nice. And also, Mr. Brandon Verhalen of our sponsor, Star Anvil Studios. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fantastic.
Well, thanks for coming out. We're going to be talking about Starbreakers, Saints and Sinners for Savage Worlds. That's a whole lot of S's in the title, folks, but you should check it out right now. tinyurl.com/Starbreakers KS will take you right to the URL. And before we jump in, I just want to be a cheesy podcast host and ask you two guys what your favorite or least favorite sci-fi movie is. I'll go with Ross first because I suspect he has an answer queued up right off the top.
I mean, I feel like it's cheating, but it's got to be Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan. It's just almost perfect.
Yeah, I can't really argue. That is a good one. Brandon, what do you think?
I mean, it's one many people like, but Star Wars: A New Hope is probably the sci-fi movie that got me, as a kid. That when it first came on HBO, back when you had to sit and wait for the time, to watch it, I watched it every single time till my mom she couldn't stand Star Wars anymore. I watched it dozens and dozens of times. So that's probably the it movie for me. But there's many more, of course.
I don't think some people understand how important that movie was, people of our generation. I knew more than one kid growing up who could quote that entire movie verbatim, unprompted, all the way through. So it was.
I'm pretty close on that one. That and Aliens.
I wanted to go with a Enemy Mine. Some of Dennis
Oh,
Quaid.
Oh, fantastic movie.
Yeah. Boy, I would love to get the RPG license for this one. I'm not sure what game I would have you play other than stranded on a remote world with your enemy. But wow, this was a cool little movie.
well, the RPG could take on the Drac War, which would be kind of neat. You'd have to go beyond the planet.
Oh yeah, you can't just yeah. It'd be like doing
Although,
Battlestar Galactica and just doing the episode where Starbucks on the planet with the Cylon.
or you could just do one of the is becoming more and more popular solo play RPGs. That'd be perfect for that.
I'm getting 2 of my games converted to solo plays right now. So yeah, including Pew Pew, which is my Star Wars homage game, which is also Savage Worlds compatible. So, well, hey, let's talk about Saints and Sinners. I'm going to bring up the art folder and start moving around. I feel like this is a passion project for you, Brendan, because you've been working on this bad boy for almost a decade, right?
Yeah, I mean, more than that if you consider when I first conceived the idea, but realistically started pursuing it about 7 years ago. I mean, when Alternity was a game is when the idea came to me, but then it was going to be a homebrew campaign with my friends and so forth, so.
Whew, that's a blast from the past, Alternity.
Mm-hmm. It inspired some of the initial race ideas.
Gonna say I remember seeing Alternity on the bookstore shelves. Oh God, late '90s. So
yeah, that sounds
speaking of race ideas, I am looking through your character art, your PC archetypes. And, I say you got some beautiful art for this. Dunar
Smugglers. Yep.
Who are the Dunar?
So the Dunar were the face of the Armageddon War when the Nogotha, the evil invading ancient alien race, species decided to attack and try and take over the galaxy. These were the guys that they had and cloned and genetically engineered by the tens upon tens of thousands to fight their war. So they're not well appreciated by the galaxy at large because of what they represent, which has left them kind of stuck. You know what I mean? They tend to turn towards the working as criminals because criminals are less discerning about who they work with if you get the job done.
Yeah, they're probably not really accepted in polite society as they're the reminder of that horrible war. So
right,
that's kind of a cool concept. This is a hypertech human. I'm guessing she's a hacker, but let me know if I'm wrong.
Yep, that's correct. Yep, hypertechs are my version of hacking in the in the Starbreaker galaxy.
Hey, this art looks really familiar. Who's the artist on this one?
So Ben Worrell did the lines. He does a lot of line art for me now. And then this particular character, all the archetype art, I should say, was colored by James Denton.
Oh, cool. Okay, I've seen some James work before. That's probably why. And I'm guessing this is the male version of Hypertech. Oh, cool. This is a pirate with laser swords. Tell me about this.
And cyberlegs.
It's a really bad day at work. So a couple things there. The swords are made out of force, not the force, force fields. So really, no heat, no generation, really sharp, plus energy swords are cool.
Legally distinct.
Legally distinct, correct.
Legally distinct.
And then, of course, we want to do cyborgs, and I thought, pirates and cybernetics go along well if we're just going to stick with tropes. And I like the way I did cyborgs, cybernetics in Starbreaker is we did them as an arcane background so that, as I've said before in a couple other places, I always found that cybernetics, when you can just buy them and they're always on, those characters can easily become objectively better to be a cyborg than anything else. So by making an arcane background with using the power points as essentially a battery, you got to rebuild your batteries. We kind of keep it a more level playing field. They can do some cool things, but they're not like, oh my God, so much better. Why don't I just play a cyborg?
That sounds like a reasonable design decision. I just wish you had a robotic parrot on one of her shoulders. But
we'll have to work on that next.
Yeah, stretch goal parrot.
There was a Doctor Who villain that was basically a space pirate with a robot bird.
Well, great minds think alike, but so do lunatics. Oh, look at this guy. This is awesome. This Errol Flynn looking guy here. This is perfect.
I like his coat.
Yeah, that was the inspiration I wanted, that more swashbuckler vibe for the pirates, because this is a very cartoon inspired 90s kind of stuff. So when I started writing this, so it kind of carries through in a lot of the art.
Sweet. Oh, dude, look at this guy. Tell me about him.
So that's a female Nakira. They're the Bat People, and that's actually based on my wife's character. It's a bounty hunter. So yeah, they stand about a little over right around 4 feet tall. Echolocation. Good as a species, they're allies with the Vukolosai, the wolf species. But yeah, they're fun. They're the ones that everyone pats on the head and says, "Oh, so cute," and they don't like it.
They also fly.
And they fly.
Well, that is handy. I'm guessing this is the male.
Yep.
That's a cool superhero landing he's doing there.
Yeah, you gotta show off cool when you come down from the sky.
What if man-bat but 4 feet high?
Yeah.
And
that's the Vukolosai, the wolf people. That's an engineer.
Okay. Engineer, male version of wolf people.
Mm-hmm.
And who we got here? This is a human grifter, so a con artist.
Yep. That's your smooth talking con artist.
Mm-hmm. And there's the male equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
Playing with the cufflinks. Nice. Okay. Psyops. This is oh, wait, no, Psyops. This is psychic.
Yep. These are the guys who read your minds and can maybe control you. They're often used in depends on where in the setting you're playing. For example, the corporate worlds, they don't have a lot of restrictions on the psychic characters, whereas the core worlds might say that's not legal. But how would you know? They're reading your mind.
Yeah. They're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
So, but out on the frontier where things are ragged, that's probably more common. There's a female version of that character. Oh, he a thief?
Yep. Pretty self-explanatory there.
Yeah. Okay, Psycho. Tell me about this character.
Yep. Psy Commandos, or Psychos for short. So the big difference between the Psyop and the Psy Commando is the Psy Commando can affect the outward world more physically. Like they get more direct. Like they can focus their psychic blast, or they can, climb on walls or turn invisible, so you can't see them. Like they're commandos. Whereas the Psyops are going to affect your mind. They can't physically attack the world directly. That's the big difference between the two.
These guys also don't wear underwear, so.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't want any panty lines.
That's fair. You want to go for a smooth aesthetic when you're on a tactical mission. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. And there's the female equivalent, assassins. Let's talk about these folks.
Yeah, so, I mean, assassin. It's always fun to have that sneaky, stealthy, deadly character. And this particular version, giant rifle for long range shooting. Just because that looks cool. Just meant to be that more stealth. Like we have another piece of assassin where they're wearing more heavy armor. So this is just a more slick, silent type character.
All right.
More ninja-like looking than anything, I guess.
I think that is all the archetypes. Let us switch over to your Kickstarter page so we can look at that for a second because you've got so much art. I don't want to talk about that for the whole half hour. Let's go over the Kickstarter page a little bit and talk about the campaign and the various tiers. And I know you gave us a few details about the world, but can you tell us a little bit more about the setting and the tone? And congratulations, just for our viewers and listeners, you are fully funded, and you're knocking down your about over twice your goal now. And 2 weeks left. What are your stretch goals, before I forget to ask?
So the first one was to add 3 more species to it. So now there's a total of 13 species in the book. The second one was the another set of starship deck plans, and the third one is a starport map.
Oh, sweet.
And we have more in mind, but unless we hit those, there's no reason to talk about all things that might have been. So we'll see how we go.
All right, fair enough. So give us just details about the general vibe and atmosphere of the setting.
So for me, when I was playing, watching movies, Star Wars especially, I was really always more enamored by like the darker parts of the setting, not the Jedi necessarily themselves. Great story, plot device, whatever. But it's like, when you look at like the Mandalorian or the Cantina scene or Jabba's palace, I always thought, wow, the criminal stuff looks really cool. And it was never the focus of, most of the movies. So I was, I thought, well, I like that. And I was but I like the idea of a more open sandbox universe. So I was trying to figure out what I would focus on. So I looked at, saints, sinners. It's this, you're either playing a saint, a undercover agent for the Star Systems Alliance, or you're playing a sinner, someone who works for the Syndicate, and you can either build your own criminal empire, or you can pretend to join a criminal empire to tear it down from the inside. There's more you can do, but that's what this book mostly focuses on, because we can't be all things in one book. It would be freaking huge.
All right. That's cool.
Heavily Ross reminded me that during the building of this. Like, Brandon, you can't do everything in one book. Pick something.
Well, I mean, that's where the Starbreaker overall title comes from, because that's the setting as a whole. Saints and Sinners is a piece of that setting. It's the foundation, but there's a lot more stuff going on. There's bounty hunters and explorers and Marines and lots of other stuff happening out there. Saints and Sinners is just the first window into this really great setting.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So you can, there's all kinds of campaign possibilities. You can be a saint or a sinner. You can be a smuggler. You can be a bounty hunter. Is that it's fair to say you got all kinds of different, ways in.
You could play. So you could, a GM can obviously just play and ignore the saint and sinner part of itself, but a smuggler is going to be a sinner. They work for the Syndicate at one level or another, because that's basically the organizations you end up working for, which is, I guess I should put on, when you make your character, you could choose, we did what was called crew types, and you choose your factions that you're going to work for. So if you say, I'm going to be a sinner, you say, well, who's our ally going to be? And you pick the faction your group kind of works for, and you can earn, favor with them. And then you pick an opposition, a faction you're going to normally run into and be against. And so that kind of helps you kind of decide things with your group about how you want to, what you want to focus on.
Yeah, it is built so that the players decide on the type of crew they want to be during character creation. And there's not really mixing and matching. You're either Saints or you're Sinners.
Okay, that's kind of cool. So it kind of have, sounds like collaborative party creation. And
Yeah, that's the idea.
You guys probably, think up a team ship at the same time, or am I wrong about that?
Well, we just kind of, because we don't really focus on the star battles and stuff a lot with this thing. There is a ship map. You just kind of, here's your ship. It's the starter ship anyone can have. Maybe later on when we have added a second starship map with this stretch goal, but it's like any starship would do, because we're not really focusing on that aspect so much. So that's just there as a conveyance to have. It's like a home for the group. It's their base, but it's not. The idea isn't to focus on starship battles or combat a lot.
Now, if you want to do starship stuff, the Sci-Fi Companion for Savage Worlds has got you covered.
Yes.
It'd be fairly simple to work out your ship and what you want to do in space combat and things like that.
And
but there's no need to reinvent the wheel, right, Brandon? Right.
We provided stats that match, what would work with the Sci-Fi Companion. So if you pick it up and want to play it, Sci-Fi Companion, there you go. Your ship, so you're ready to go for a few ships.
Sweet. Nice. Good to know you have that compatibility. I see you got cards for archetypes, and there's an action deck and threat cards. Those are super handy tools for GMs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing Mission Bravo is a ready-to-go adventure right from the, as soon as you get the book?
Yep. That'll be included. The Mission Bravo will pick up where the Jumpstart left off.
Yeah, the Jumpstart is Mission Alpha.
Cool. There's that starship map you talked about. That's pretty cool. Yeah, and alternate covers for the serious backer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and think that the red flaming skull is the sinner, and the angel wings with the sword and the shield is the saint. But let me know if I've got those switched up.
You've done a great job of sussing out and using your detective work.
I always was good with context clues. So, all right, that's pretty cool. All right, so we are nearing $10,000. So, also using context clues, you unlocked your 7,500 new player species. What do we have there?
That is there's a little species that's kind of based on meerkats.
Mm-hmm.
Another one on insect, another one on octopus. That's the Elau, the Mentis, and the Thoven.
Mm-hmm.
And we did hit the starship map too. We just haven't updated the graphics. We'll do that on Monday.
Okay, cool. Nice. And new starport map, that's probably going to be within reach. You're 10,000 as of today. So I feel safe. 12.5 is probably going to happen in the next week or so.
Very likely. Very likely.
I would love to see it happen.
So cool. All right. Let me ask you, what kind of adventure does the Jumpstart have? Because it looks like that's tied pretty closely in the campaign, since your next follow-on adventure is picking up right where that leaves off.
So the Jumpstart one is, you're sent in to infiltrate there's a group of criminals have kidnapped the Navigator Guild, I think it's manager, regional guy or whatever, and knowing those jump routes is really, how smugglers, I should say pirates and stuff could attack them. So they don't want that to fall into the wrong hands. So you're sent in to save the Navigator Guild guy and give false information to those people willing to buy it, so the government can kind of control what goes on there. And that's the players are supposed to, go in there and be criminals and do it undercover, and then infiltrate the way and become part of the local criminal element once they get there by taking that over.
Oh, sweet. And you can find that right now. Pay what you want on Drive-Thru RPG, Starbreaker, Saints and Sinners Jumpstart. You can get that today, right now, as we're speaking. So check it out, folks.
900 and something people have that Jumpstart now. They should all come by the game.
Indeed. Well, let's look at your NPC art, if you don't mind. This is Creatures and NPC. Once again, just amazing art in this book. This is the dude from the cover.
Yep, that's Dom. He is the pirate of the I normally know the name. The Silver Ghost, a pirate ship. He's your more or less friendly pirate, i.e., if you don't fight him, he'll just take the ship or your goods and leave you and let you be.
Mm-hmm. He lives his life He lives his life a quarter light year at a time.
Right, exactly. It's all about family.
Damn it, you guys stole my joke. I was all right. Yeah.
All right.
He seems like a bad guy. It's all about family. So
Family.
coming soon, the slow and the cure.
He lost an eye. He's had some problems.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, who is this interesting looking person in purple?
So that one was originally going to be the Grifter archetype, and she may be. I think I've assigned it in the book, but I don't really have the name off the top of my head for her, so I couldn't tell you yet. I have to reread it. That's the Nogotha.
Nogotha.
They are the ones who their focus is genetic engineering. They can pop themselves in a vat or something and change their genetic makeup to survive on almost any planet. They could do that to almost anyone else as well. That's why they're incredibly dangerous, because they can adapt and overcome.
Interesting. And who is this multi-eyed threat here?
That is the Nausicaa. That was actually the first published in the Savage Sign when Sigil was doing that. And they are a pack bonded, telepathically bonded pack hunters, I should say. And so you'll see one chasing you and you think, oh, it's just one. Well, they're telling you I'm leading them this way. They're not human intelligence, but they are highly cunning animal intelligence. Very dangerous.
They're very clever girls, you might say.
Yes, very clever girls.
You're stealing all my jokes, Ross, but okay.
And if you'll notice, they have 4 eyes, right?
Yeah.
And you notice the Nogotha have 4 eyes.
Oh.
So that's a telltale sign that these are the type of creatures that were created by the Nogotha and put on worlds. So if you see creatures with 4 eyes like that in the setting, those are all specifically usually used as creatures to hunt, torment, and force their genetically engineered creatures in other worlds to learn to band together to survive against it. It's part of their way they force evolution on certain creatures in the past.
That's some interesting world building. Okay. Who's this fella?
So that's the names escape me because we gave them names, but I didn't have names for them at first. So this is the assassin that is more heavily armored assassin. So a lot of these were actually originally going to be they were archetypes, and I decided to go a different way with archetypes. So I want to have that male female option so people could play whatever they felt looks closest to their character idea. So
I'm kind of getting a Jason Statham vibe from this guy, so I'm just going to call him Beekeeper.
Sounds great.
All right. And moving on, who is next? Oh, hey.
That was my wife's first character who played an engineer. And I think she named her Najira. I forget how she said it. But anyway, that was her engineer character. She blew up a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Got that look about her. That is some cool art. Combat medic, I'm guessing.
Yep. And I'm a nurse, and so we always make the joke if I only had a third arm, and so I actually gave the combat medic a mental controlled third arm for when they're doing stuff in the field.
Kind of like Bill Burr in Star Wars. So, or Miggs Maildfield for you guys who don't know actors' names.
Yeah.
Oh, check this guy out.
Yeah, I just want to show hypertext is not just they're not all human, and you get see a different. That's one of the Septrid. Although it does give a certain other lizard-like look with that trench coat and such. But yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking. What's the race here?
That's the Septrids.
Okay, you said that. All right, cool. Who's this guy?
That's another smuggler.
Okay, cool. Dual wielding as you do.
That's a fully armored, we're still in the military Psi Commando.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah, that is some badass looking art. I like the wrist blaster.
And
Psyop. Yeah. Sweet. Another Psi Commando?
Nope, that's Star Marine.
Who?
Star Marine.
Okay, cool. So he kills bugs dead?
Yep, sure do.
Sweet. Guessing Grifter?
Yep, that's Finn. I know who he is.
Okay, sweet.
He's the guy who likes to give himself trouble. That is oh god, I actually would know his name. He is the a character most players who are in Saint when they're getting inducted or being Robert Inglis. That's the name we gave him. He's the one who sets you on your missions a lot of times. He is the leader of, or at least the known leader to agents of Saint.
He's basically Amanda Waller in space.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
So
much
his last
friendlier
name-
about it.
Cool. I was gonna make a joke about his last name being Johnson, but Amanda Waller says actually funnier, so I won't. Like this guy. He's got a grappling hook.
Yep, that is Caliban. That is my proxy in the game for myself. That is my Psy Commando / thief character.
Sweet.
So he shows up in the art a little bit more when I was thinking the game. Like if I was in the game and had hair.
Just let him cook. He's got a grappling hook.
Oh wow. Okay.
That is the Calum. So if you notice the crystal, but inside the crystal, you notice how the light kind of glows inside there?
Yeah, he's got 4 eyes though. So tell me,
Yeah.
is he?
So yeah, the thing is, the Calum,
Mm-hmm.
Nogotha, and the Zek are all the same species at one point.
Oh.
They went down different avenues of where they wanted to focus, and the Calum focused on psychic expansions, and so their bodies are made out of pure psychic energy. The crystal is one of the few substances in the galaxy in their psychic forms can still interact with, so they gather the crystal around their bodies so they can interact with the physical world. Without that crystal, they cannot interact with the world. And the older they get, their colors of their glowing color follows like the cycle of a star. So if you see, if you look at the life of a star, the colors that they're down that spectrum, you'd know that, wow, that's a really old Calum. Don't mess with that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say blue gets pretty old, and you get down to the red ones, which are ancient. So
yeah, you don't want to find a red one.
What about infrared and ultraviolet?
Well, they're ultraviolet. I mean, ultraviolet. Yes, no. Yeah, you can't see them; they're invisible. I don't know. Just a thief type character, piece of art.
Okay. Oh, and we're back to
There's the Zek. So they went down the path of cybernetics. There's very little biological matter left to them. They're almost completely mechanical. They're the absolute extreme push. You could be mechanical and still be a cyborg.
Okay.
A little bit of brain and neural matter in there.
Cool. Okay. Guessing pirate. What was the species name again?
That's the Dunar. That's Recon Vax, he's the one who cut the arm off of Dom and gave him that missing eye.
He's on the cover.
Each other. Yeah. They don't like each other.
So this guy has one of those engineered animals we were talking about.
Yep, that's Victor. He is a syndicate boss, and he keeps a couple of those around because he is actually a psyop, and he can control them.
Nice.
And you probably wouldn't want to make him mad. He has lots of little things like that hidden around.
Okay, that is pretty cool. All right, who are these guys?
So that's the one piece art you weren't supposed to show. No.
Sorry. You didn't see these dreadlocks, aliens. We'll forget.
Yeah, those are the Sakun, and they will be talked about later.
Later, okay.
Yeah, they're out there. That's Zed. She's one of those people. She shows up. More of a they them. You don't really know what they are. You don't ever really know what they're up to and who they're trying to help. So if they're trying to help you, it's probably for an ulterior reason, but not necessarily bad. But they're very you never know what side they're really on. They're that interesting type of character that way.
Got some metaplot ambience about them. Okay.
That's just a thug.
I shouldn't have said Jason Statham for the other guy because this guy gives big Jason Statham vibes. All right, sweet. We are
lock, stock, and 2 smoking blasters.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I like that. We are at the half-hour mark, and when Ross and I thought up this podcast, the idea was short, fast, and fun. So, Ross, I will give you the last question before we
get Brandon, why don't you tell us your favorite thing about Saints and Sinners?
I love the world that it's built because it's my world, so I have everything there that I want. But what I like about it really is because I think we've scattered enough information throughout the book with little like there'll be a spot in the book that's going to say, hey, this could be a plot, and this could be an idea you could use, so that the GM could pick up the book and go, not only do you have the jump start and the mission Bravo mission, you go, oh, I need an adventure tonight. I just need an idea. Here's the lore that supports an idea, and it might inspire them to run more. And that's why it's a real sandbox setting, because there's so many things that can just trigger an idea for you to run. At least that's the hope.
I like to say that it's very much The Mandalorian meets The Expanse. It's got a lot of gritty sci-fi action on the edge of the galaxy.
Sweet. That is my favorite kind of flavor for sci-fi. So you got about 2 weeks left, folks. tinyurl.com/starbreakersks. Hit it up now. He's knocking out stretch goals. It is a perfect time to jump on this dilithium-powered bandwagon. And on that, Brandon, last word?
Hey, thanks for having me here. And it's been a blast talking to you guys.
No worries. I always have a good time on Wildcards. And Russ, anything to say before we sign off?
Just that Starbreakers KS is the tiny URL, and go check it out while you can.
Hey, Russ, I don't know if you noticed, but we actually have very similar great rooms.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like you guys had your house designed by the same guy.
Very similar architects. They were twin brothers. So, all right, folks, thank you very much for checking us out. We will see you soon. Take care.